Dear friends, let us go and understand what do you mean by register organizations. So as we are aware that register is being used for storage of the temporary data into the memory, and this has been required by the CPU. So let us understand what do you understand by the register organization. CPU must have some working spaces which are being called as your registers. Now these working spaces are considered to be the temporary working spaces. They are not permanent. A computer employs a memory hierarchy. So when a hierarchy is being established, you should remember that the hierarchy will be divided into the high level, mid level, and the low level. The components which are placed on the high level are expensive. This is because it helps in the movement of the memory in a very faster way, and they are smaller in size, but they are expensive. Within the CPU, there is a set of registers which can be treated as a memory in the highest level of hierarchy. So, register organization, the CPU can be categorized into two groups. One is called as the user variable register. These enable the machine or assembly language programmer to minimize main memory reference by optimizing use of registers. So you consider more and more register for this operation, and the load on the main memory is being reduced to a larger extent. Then you have control and status register. These are used by the control unit to control the operation of the CPU, and the operating system programs may also use these in privilege mode to control the execution of the program. So, first of all, they are using the control unit for controlling the operation. Secondly, operating system programs may also use this in the privilege mode. Now, what are user variable or user visible registers? One is called as the general purpose register, the other one is the data register, address register, and the condition codes. So let us look into it one by one. What do you mean by general purpose register? It is used for a variety of functions by the programmer. Some used for holding the operand of an instruction, sometimes used for addressing function. Now we are aware that there are different sort of addressing. It may be direct addressing, it may be indirect addressing, and then it may be a register direct, register indirect addressing, and so on. So these features are required in case of your general purpose registers. Then you have the data register. So what do you understand by data register? Data register is used to hold only data. It cannot be employed in the calculation of the operand address. As the name suggests, data registers. The data register will be holding only data. Then you have address registers. Now, address registers are used exclusively for the purpose of addressing. Now, address registers are being divided into four types. One is called your segment register, index registers, and stack pointers. Now, what do you understand by segment pointers? In a machine with segment addressing, a segment register holds the address of the base segment. So, the segment register is holding the address of the base segment. There are multiple registers, one of the code segment and one of the data segment. So the code segment register would be holding the data which is related to code, and the data segment will hold the data which needs to be executed. Now index registers are used for indexed addressing and may be also auto indexed. So we are aware that auto index consists of either auto increment or simultaneously auto decrement. So when we say it is auto increment or auto decrement, it indicates that these forms of registers can be incremented or decremented by the CPU automatically. Then you have a stack pointer, a dedicated register that points onto the top of the stack. So it is divided into two types. One is called as the push operation, the other one is called as the pop operation. When you say it is the push operation, you're pushing the contents onto the register for storage, and when you say pop, you're pulling out the contents. So that is considered to be the pop operation. Then you have condition code registers, set of individual bits. Example, result of last operation was 0. So you will set the bit as 0. It can be read implicitly. So when you say it can be read implicitly, you are indicating, example, jump if 0 cannot usually be used by the sets of programs. Now, let us go ahead and look into control and status register. It basically consists of the following parameter. You have the program counter, contains the address of the instructions to be fetched. Then you have the instruction register, contains the instruction most frequently used. So it may be also stored into the cache memory. Memory address register, it contains the address of the location of main memory from where the information has to be fetched or information has to be stored. Memory buffer register contains a word or data to be returned to memory or word which has been recently used. Now, what do you understand by program status word? Now, program status word is being divided into the different sort of signals. Now, there are the different signals. For example, sign, zero, carry, equal, overflow, interrupt, enable, and disable. So, what do you understand by sign? It contains the sign bit of the result of the last arithmetic operation that is being carried. If it is 0, it will set when the value and when the result is 0. Carry. Set if an operation resulted in carry, addition, or borrow out a higher order bit. So if you want to carry out some operation where you require the result in the form of carry, you use a carry bit. Then you have equal. It is used for logically comparing two bits. For example, add R1, R2. So here the operation is performing addition, but you are adding two variables R1, R2. Then you have overflow, used to indicate arithmetic overflow. Now such type is used when your result gets exceeded by a particular value and you require those results to be round off. Similarly, you have interrupt, enable, or disable, used to enable or disable the interrupt at the regular interval. So it is used to indicate, enable, or disable the interrupts which are taking place. So now let us consider the register organization of Intel 8086 processor. It has been classified into four types. You have general registers, you have pointers and index, you have segment, and you have program status. So in case of the general registers, we have accumulator, base, count, data. Pointers consist of stack pointer, base pointer, source index, destination index, and segment consists of code, data, stack, and extract. And program status consists of flags and the instruction pointer. So let us see each and every component which are dealing with the help of Intel 8086 processor. Now it is a 16-bit instruction pointer. Now general registers are of 16 bits. Here AX includes accumulator, favor in terms of calculation. BS is base, normally holds the address of a variable. CX is count, normally used for loops. DX is data, normally used for the purpose of addition and multiplication. Now segment is divided into 16-bit. SS, it indicates stack, base segment that is directly linked to the stack in the memory. CS is used to hold the code data. DS is used to hold the data which has been available for the storage. and ES is used as an extract, addition location for storage of memory data. Then you have index, which is of 16-bit. You have base pointer, offset from. SS means super speed for locating the subroutines, because we need to locate the subroutines which are present, which are containing instruction for the faster execution. SP indicates stack pointer, so that offset from SS from top of the stack. SI is the source index, which is basically used for copying of data, and DI is the destination address, which is used for copying of data and strings.